So the number one outreach strategy. Now, if you really want to succeed in LinkedIn, there are the strategy you want to adopt compared to a lot of people who are doing. That's mainly because if you really see, LinkedIn has almost 760 million user base, and in India itself, it is the second highest number of people on LinkedIn. So every 260 million active users are there on LinkedIn. So there are a lot of sales opportunities available on LinkedIn. It is kind of a bottomless ocean where you can continue to get many sales opportunities. But that's why if you see the LinkedIn is number one channel for B2B marketers, top sales professional to share content, connect and with the prospects. And if you're not on LinkedIn, obviously in your most businesses, 80% of leads you are missing. But because of this popularity, because of this so much of potential exists on LinkedIn, what happens is a lot of people don't know how to do that, and instead they take a very easy approach. So if you really see, most people on LinkedIn platform do the same thing. They randomly search on LinkedIn, whether it's a free version or navigator based on some job title, location, industry, and then they send a common set of messages to prospects for connect and asking for appointment. You would have seen a lot of requests maybe, or it's just a simple request saying that connect request without any personalization or without any relevancy. And because of this, what is happening is there is the kind of messaging is brings spam and a low quality messaging. And people who are, especially if you're targeting top senior people or CFOs, CXOs, or even any founders of businesses, they want to keep their inbox very neat. They want to properly manage. They don't want to receive a lot of spam messages, and they hate that kind of thing. And you want to make sure that is why that you target the right people with the right kind of messaging. So, but what is this target right people, right kind of messaging means? What's the strategy you have to adopt for this? For that, let's understand first what is that happening in the buyer's market today. If you really look at the buyers in any business for that matter, today as a buyer, you are at a much advantageous position. Maybe compared to 10 years or 15 years, you are in a much better position today because you have so much access to information. As a buyers, they have a lot of information, they are more knowledgeable. So they are, if I want to buy a car, I can really compare around 10 things. If I want to buy any software, I can go to the Google, I can go to LinkedIn, I will get hundreds of articles and so many messages. So typically today, any buyer is much more informed. But at the same time, just because they are informed means things are not easy to make any buying decisions. The buyers are also challenged with, they lack time and attention. So they are being flooded with too many sellers. They are also having too much of information, so they lack the time. They are not ready to give you time. At the same time, they are looking for information from trusted source. Since there is so much of information available, they are seeking for what is that information which they can rely on. Is it a really trusted source? And the third one is they want to speak to authority. If at all they want to speak, they want to make sure that they are spending the time with the right person. They don't want to regret that they ended up spending time with someone who did not give them the relevant information or who did not help him in his buying. So these are three challenges I have put, but typically they have done. Now, as a seller, you want to understand these buyers' challenges and adopt your strategy. And most people who adopt a strategy, or they generally do, which is more of what I call as a broad-based coverage, fishnet strategy, we say, which is more of like they simply try out any businesses. Like it is like throwing a big fishnet into an ocean and just see whatever it comes in that. And if anyone has if you have gone to actually ocean, and if you have seen these people who throw these big fish nets and they collect, you will see that you get every kind of things. You never get the big fish you are looking for. There are a lot of other things comes in. So this is similar to that. A lot of people use the LinkedIn as a way where they try to target every kind of prospects because there is so much opportunity, but end up getting low quality leads. They focus only on the quantity. Now, instead, what is that strategy you want to adopt is what we call a fishnet versus what we call a harpoon strategy. And top 1% salespeople and top companies are adopting different strategy, which is more of what we call as harpoon strategy. And what is this harpoon strategy means? You are going to a specific set of targeted prospects. It's just like even in the fishing, there are people who do a lot of research. They know that there are some specific locations in the ocean or in the river where they get very high quality fishes. So they ensure that they go at the right time there, maybe morning 4 o'clock or something. They prepare everything and they go there and they just stay there for some time and they collect some big fishes. And that's the whole idea of outreach should be. LinkedIn is for catching some big fishes, big clients. For that, you want to adopt a strategy where you want to target your prospects, adopt a harpoon strategy, we say, targeted way of prospecting to become more effective. Instead of a broad base, targeted way of more effective, which we'll talk more in later. But that's the strategy we want to do. And to do that effectively, what you want to do is the success comes from hyper target audience, hyper personalization, and the right kind of messaging. So your messaging should be very personalized so that it doesn't come across as very boring, but also it has to be targeted to your right audience. You don't want to target a different set of audience. You may be targeting an enterprise customer, you may be targeting small businesses, you may be targeting a US customers or a local customer. Every target audience is a different audience. You want to focus on that. And finally, you want to ensure that you send the right message. Now, how do we do this kind of strategy? That is what we will cover, how to build your target audience, how to create that personalization, and how to create this kind of right messaging. That's the whole idea of this course where we will go through in the subsequent sections. But the key is to make more niche and targeted. That creates a much bigger success. That's the top one strategy of focusing more on a hyper targeting and hyper personalization. But the second also important strategy you want to do is you want to consider your whole outreach or a prospecting is a long term strategy versus a short term. Most people fail in outreach prospecting as they give up too early. They send one connect request, they immediately pitch and they give up. But you don't want to do that. That's the key strategy is to create a long list of nurturing. So when we say nurturing, this is the concept of farming you can think of. In the farming, you are just sowing a seed, and just sowing a seed doesn't really make any difference. You want to make sure that you want to nurture to get that right kind of fruit. So just making a connection or sending one message is like sowing a seed, but to really get that fruit of your sales success, you want to nurture. You have to consider this is a long-term strategy. So you may want to, for this, we will create a lot of follow-ups. You have to create multiple kinds of messages and use a lot of automation, software, everything. And that's the whole idea of strategy. Without doing a long kind of nurturing, you will never be able to achieve success. So these broadly two strategies. One is hyper targeting to a specific audience and then nurturing the same thing can make a huge difference in your business success. And that's the strategy we will be adopting as part of LinkedIn outreach.